It's time to bring my builds to the next level. A carousel is a fairly simple concept, but the memories it makes are very complex. And everyone seems to have one of those memories. So when my wife asked me to create one out of Lego, I had the impression that it was going to be something that wasn't really doable. But thankfully, to a recent power outage and having more time to work on Lego concepts, I decided to go ahead and give it a try. I give you the Lego Carousel. This isn't really a subscriber request, although my wife is subscribed to me. It is, however, a personal request, and I had to go ahead and try it. As you can see from the video you're watching right now, the outcome ended up being a little bit more detailed, but still very simple. I love the fact that I was able to figure out a way to make this thing actually turn. The up and down movement of the horses was something that I was not ready to even consider tackling. And the idea of them all being connected to a pole, that one doesn't really fly with Lego either. So I had to come up with some kind of compromise to make this whole thing work. What I basically set out to do here was make platforms that all the objects are sitting on, and then found a way to create them to move up and down. Let's go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look at the different details in this and how things were constructed. Let's first start by looking at the roof. It is either in the shape of a tent style, or that's just what I seem to envision them all as. Now, I know a lot of them actually have flat tops, but that's because they are usually housed indoors in some facet. But this is what the shape that I wanted to go to. I wanted to represent or make a representation of an older style carousel. You also notice that the way that the centerpiece is made here, there's a lot of structure within the pieces, and the spacing and everything, it's a little bit hollow. I could have done even less hollow than that, but I wasn't really concerned about the weight of it, knowing that it was going to be rotating. If you flip it over, you're going to see how the arms actually work and how everything's connected. I used some basically wheel pieces. They have the ability to be hinged on either side, and you can pick how you want to incorporate them with different Technic pieces. And it wasn't one of those things that I really had to spend a lot of time thinking about. Once I had a basic concept in my mind, I just went and started grabbing things, and it came about. If you take a closer look at that, you'll see a whole bunch of smooth tiles, and then there's the cheese wedge pieces that are bumped up to some flats with smooths on top of them. So the range that's moving up and down is actually not that much, but it works pretty well for the size of the carousel. Although it does not look like it's super stable because of the supports and the way they set up, it actually is pretty darn stable, and the simple reasoning for that is because the roof actually sits on top of the moving mechanism. The poles and the height of that in place are at the same point, so it does work out pretty well. That also did cause a little bit more friction than needed to be there, but thankfully there's enough rigidity within the roof because of the multiple layers. It didn't cause as much as you would think. Then you move into the pieces, would be the horses, or in this case the different things that you ride, and my son and I sat down and took out everything that was in the minifig section that we thought would make for something fun to see somebody get on to in a carousel. And I went back and forth on different ideas. I actually wanted to do the bicycles side by side, but the amount of space wouldn't allow me to do things like that. But I like the overall selections we made. My son Corbin is very not with the concept of riding on top of the shark, because there is no way to connect a minifig directly to it because there is no studs on top. I imagine going to somewhere with a carousel and seeing this giant jaws and going, ooh, I want to ride that one. It's just awesome. As usual, folks, thanks for watching. Feel free to leave some comments, requests, or suggestions down below. Don't forget that like and subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and I will see you next time.